Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the third episode, I believe, of the 2026 Spring Allegany camping trip series. Today I actually decided I would sleep in, despite really wanting to actually get out for sunrise. I just could not do it. It was absolutely exhausted between the hiking and the bike riding yesterday. Staying up late, cooking, and doing all that stuff. Decided I would sleep in for the first time, but today we got a little agenda ahead of us. We're gonna go check out Thunder Rocks, and then we're gonna go do this trail called Bear Springs. I've actually never hiked that trail, so excited to cross off another box. And then later we will be going to Bay State Road, which is a dirt road. Check that out. See some sights around there, and probably cook some hot dogs on the campfire. Been whittling a stick to use as a hot dog skewer since we actually didn't bring any. Kind of didn't cross my mind, so we just grabbed some sticks on trail a few days ago, and I'm whittling them down to be able to use over the fire. So that is the plan. Kind of a low-key day. Tomorrow morning it's going to be sunrise. Saturday morning sunrise, and obviously won't be doing anything Sunday morning because we got to pack everything up and get out of here. So I already have two places in mind: Wolf Run and Red House Lake for potential sunrise locations. I'm trying to spend all day thinking about that, as opposed to trying to think about what I'm going to do in the morning while I am falling asleep. That never ends up working very well. I know, planning, right? Who would have thought? But yeah, we're going to be getting out of here soon. Gorgeous day, clear skies, not a cloud in sight. It's supposed to be about in the 70s today. So probably the warmest it's been all week so far. And it's supposed to cool back down into the 50s the next 2 days. I think 60s then 50s as we head into the weekend. There's supposed to be some rain. I'll take rain because I love it when it rains here. You get all this like evapotranspiration fog that kind of rolls up off of the hills and looks absolutely gorgeous. And I think it'd look really good with that newly grown in spring foliage. So that's the plan. I have no idea what I'm going to be photographing today. Might not be doing a whole lot in the way of photography today, honestly. Yeah, I guess it just depends on what we stumble across. I mean, it's midday, light, clear blue skies. Subjects will probably be limited with this type of condition. I don't normally shoot in these conditions, so it'll be kind of a challenge. So I might be sticking to small scenes and small scenes only, which Thunder Rocks should be pretty good for. Bear Springs, very short half-mile trail into the woods. Don't know what to expect, but we'll see, right? Just going to enjoy the weather and enjoy the time outside. Scout some things, whether I get back to them this trip or come back to them at a later point in the year, right? That is what the phone is for. Scout, scout, scout. So yeah, that's it. Just want to do a little introduction here along the trail here for Deal. And yeah, see you guys soon. Currently have the 600 on. Was trying to do a little bit of wildlife. Did see a few smaller birds, red-breasted nuthatch, dark-eyed junco, and there was an eastern towhee at the beginning of the trailhead when we first got here. But then 3 cars of people, filled with people, showed up, and yeah, that sucks. But I mean, it is what it is, right? So what I actually am going to start doing is something I haven't actually put like almost any time into, but I'd like to try, is maybe do some multiple exposures, because the light isn't really super great right now. It's, midday, blue sky, no atmosphere or anything. So I'm going to try and mess around with some multiple exposures, maybe matching up some bark texture and some rock texture, or putting some rocks behind some of these trees here, just all in camera stuff and nothing else really. So I'm going to give that a shot. Really haven't done too much of that at all. So I'm going to take the 600 off, put the 24 to 200 back on, and just kind of have fun with it and see what happens. It's been about maybe 30 minutes or so, and I'm actually kind of getting into a groove with the multiple exposure stuff. At first, I really wasn't getting it, but after a few images, it's finally clicking to me, especially now that I understand how the blending mode works. So on my camera, it's the Nikon Z7. It has like a add, average, lighten, and dark blending modes. And at first I was using add and average, and that was kind of producing some weird results. And then I switched to lighten and started taking photos of the trees against the sky and pairing it with the textures of these mossy boulders, and started getting some actually really cool results. So I would take a picture of these white patches on the boulders, and then I would take a photo of the sky or with the trees and the canopy, right? And basically those light patches from the boulders would come through against the sky, and the light patches of exposed rock kind of look like clouds, or even in some of the pictures I've taken, look like blooming flowers against the trees. And I'm starting to get really excited because I'm finally understanding how to do this. And it's actually a lot of fun. I'm trying to mess around with some darken exposure modes and see how that works. I think I took one cool one already with some dark moss and a backlit tree. But this is proving to be quite a bit of fun. It's like kind of freeing because it's just experimenting, no expectations, and just doing something I haven't done before and getting some really cool results. We are now over at the Bear Springs Trail. Like I said, I've never actually been on this trail before. Actually, I was here like briefly a year or so ago, maybe 2 years ago. Only walked a little ways down, but yeah, I never actually completed the whole trail. It's only 0.4 miles, so it's like a 0.8 mile round trip. There's a couple little things along the trail, like some, what's the word I'm looking for? Remnants of some old campsites that were built in the early 1900s, and we'll get to see that. Although I will say this woodland looks really, really nice. There's a lot of really nice small trees that are all starting to leaf out here, and I think this would look really good in some different lighting, or of course fog. Obviously woodlands and fog go very well together, as you guys know. But yeah, this would definitely be a place I would come to if it got super foggy one of these mornings. I just love the way it looks. All those really light greens of those fresh new leaves. And then look at this guy right here. This nurse log root of this birch here. Always so gnarly looking. But yeah, we're gonna do this hike. Easy little hike, then we're gonna go back to camp for some lunch. And then we're off to one of the park's sort of like dirt roads later on for the evening. And who knows what else at this point. I really haven't thought that far ahead, so. Yeah, nice short hike here, and we'll see you guys afterwards. That's a cool little find there, I like that. A nice fallen cherry tree. It's a nice strong diagonal. Some uprooted trees here. A lot of character here in the understory. Cool stuff. So walked not that much farther, and to my surprise, there's actually a creek crossing here, which I didn't know. Did not know there was a creek crossing on this trail. Looks like it actually kind of splits over there. There's like a little island over there, and it kind of meanders around over here. Nice little bridge. Could do some real cool stuff with the creek here and the light reflecting in the creek. Yeah, I mean this right here is one of the things that I really wanted to do this trip. I think I said it early on, is to see new places, go to new parts of the park I've never been to before, and just, check some boxes, right? Eliminate some unknowns, and this is exactly what I'm talking about here. Because I did not know there was a creek crossing here. I thought this trail was very unpromising, I guess. Thought it was a pretty straightforward trail into the woods to some ruins. Did not know there was a creek crossing here, so that definitely piques my interest quite a bit. Very, very cool. Alright, so there you can see, golden trail marker. We are at the end. I believe we're at the end. And this is one of the, I guess, main attractions, you could say, for this particular area, is this section of ruins right here. You can see there's like this, I think it's like a spring or some kind of, I don't know what it is. I'd have to like look online for some more information about what this is, whether it's a fire pit or if it's a spring. Because if you look here, you can see there's a pipe with water flowing out, and you can see that this water is this really rusty orange color, and I think it's because the water in here is like super iron rich. Maybe it's in the pipes in there are like really rusty, and it's just leaching here into the creek. I have no idea, but there's some really cool opportunities here for some like abstract stuff, and you can even look in there and see that. That looks gnarly. Yeah, that I don't even want to know what is, if it's like iron bacteria or what it is. It looks actually crazy in there. I probably will take some photos of it. You can see here all these like hair-like things. It's just like bright orange color. It's so weird looking. But there used to be a sign here, and this is now no longer. But I'm gonna actually spend a little bit of time here trying to like take some really close-up shots of this wild-looking iron. I'm only just gonna assume it's like iron-rich water. It's just leaching into all the plant life here and all the algae and moss and stuff. It looks so crazy. I mean, take a look at that. That's just like otherworldly stuff. So after we hiked the Bear Springs Trail, we headed back to camp to cook up some lunch on the campfire. Made a couple of hot dogs, and myself personally haven't had a hot dog in many, many, many years. But I gotta say, it definitely hit the spot, especially cooked over a nice hot campfire on a beautiful, beautiful afternoon. Afterwards, we made our way to Bay State Road, where mostly spent the evening scouting and had a pretty interesting encounter. It's currently 6:30 in the afternoon. Stopped and cooked some hot dogs on the campfire for a bit of a lunch situation, but now we're out here on Bay State Road, kind of almost in the center of the park. One of 3 of the park's sort of like main dirt roads. This one I feel like is probably the most wild, I would say. It's completely surrounded on both sides with trees, whereas like some of the other ones are a bit more open. Fransbrook just across the way is a lot more open. It does have some access to campsites where this one does not. This one probably goes through like some of the most remote areas in the park, and there's quite a bit of beaver meadows and stuff over there in the valleys and things like that. But one of the things I like is just, like I said before, is all the woodland right off the side of the road. And just kind of walking along the road here, just peering into the tree line and just trying to build some simple compositions with some of these cooler looking trees and some really nice light. Again, we do have clear blue skies still, unfortunately, but I'll take it, actually. Now that's a bit later in the evening. Of course, I always take mist over clear sky days, but this will work. And if anything, if I don't pull any images I'm super excited about, then I'm just more than happy with some scouting images, some things to come back to. because that's kind of one thing I don't really have right now, is any real solid scouted compositions here. But again, and I have walked through this area before, about, I want to say in March of last year, before all of this stuff was grown in like it is now, and did actually walk down to the edge of some of these beaver meadows here, some of these really old beaver dams, and you can still see some old field habitat from when there used to be farms and stuff here, way back in like late 1800s, early 1900s, and now slowly being reclaimed by nature more than 100 years later. And what was the name of this tree again, Dave? Yeah, American hornbeam. Hornbeam? Yeah, American hornbeam trees off the side of the road here. And the reason I really like them is because the bark texture is like, I don't know, it's just like super unique compared to a lot of other trees I've seen. So I'm, again, just kind of a scouting composition as is with this one here, kind of framing in with the other trees. And it's got a really nice crown to the tree as well. Kind of sticks out from all the other trees around it. So just working with stuff like that. Probably will spend the remainder of the evening here. And we'll see how it goes. So we were just up the road a ways, and there was a park police officer parked here, which I've never really seen one of them down on this road. Just because it's not really a super busy area. Like I said, it's kind of one of the most remote sections of the park. And we were down maybe about, I don't know, 1,000 feet or so, quarter mile. And we heard this really loud, like, buzzing noise. Thought it maybe was like a paraglider or something, but the more I listened to it, it sounded like a drone. And that's actually what it ended up being. The park police officer was actually flying this huge drone. And we saw it land, and I got a little video on my phone I'll show you guys real quick. And I have no idea what he was doing with it. I think the best thing we could come up with as far as the guess is maybe looking for people who are out here illegally camping, because it is a huge park, 65,000 acres, and like I said, there's pretty much nothing here for a few miles in each direction. There's no campsites or anything like that, so that is my guess as to what he was looking for. But we'll never know. I suppose I could always ask. I just thought that was really cool. Right now, I'm just kind of on the road, side of the road, near our cabin trail. We're back from Bay State Road now. But as we're driving back, I couldn't help but notice this really awesome maple tree, which is got these flowers or catkins on them. And I just really like the way it looks in the soft light. And I've been wanting a photo of one of these trees pretty much the entire trip, and just haven't had the right conditions or opportunity to photograph it yet. And I figured this is probably going to be one of the best opportunities that I can get. And it's also like right next to our cabin, so I figured I would just ride my bike over here very quickly and just grab a photo of it. And just across the way from me there's like a little wetland, some nice trees in there and stuff. Especially this grouping of trees right here I really like. And also right now, I don't know what you guys can see, but getting some nice color in the clouds up there. Really, really nice. Yeah, it's just, I don't know what it is about some of these trees, but they have this like awesome bark and lichen and moss patterns on them, and I really only see them here in Allegany, and it gives the trunk of these trees just such a unique color palette and look, and they just stand out like a sore thumb. I don't know what it is, it just looks absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I figured I'd stop and share this moment with you guys because I really like this photo. Really kind of a nice sunset happening tonight. So I'm going to mess around with this composition as well as with these trees over here. I'm just going to probably walk over there and see if I can get an arrangement of these trees as a potential subject for the future if it doesn't work out tonight. So this version of this photo, I do have a little bit of the cut grass underneath it, as well as some specular highlights peeking through the canopy. I typically always try to avoid that kind of stuff, like fresh cut grass and the specular highlights coming through the canopy if possible, but I honestly don't hate it. So behind me I've got this arrangement of 4 really nice trees, all with those really fresh leaves just coming in on them. Just getting a hint of that reflected light coming in from this really nice sunset happening over here. Really long exposure right now. I think it's about, right now, metering 13 seconds at f11 ISO 400 in manual mode. Again, I do have the cut grass, some specular highlights creeping in, but it's really just such a lovely arrangement of trees that I'm really not too bothered by the grass. I see a lot of scenes like this all over the park, and I feel like sometimes I shy away from photographing them just because of, things like the sort of, I guess, man-made cut grass that you really wouldn't see normally. But it's fun to photograph these things, and I think it's a big part of what makes the park beautiful, a lot of things you see on the side of the road. So why shouldn't I go ahead and take a photo of it? Yeah. It is currently 8:22, sun has set, and I think that is probably going to do it for this episode. 2 more full days to go. Pretty sad that it's coming to a close, but it's been a great trip so far. Hope you guys have been enjoying the content thus far, and really liking this photo quite a bit. Owls I can hear right now are spring peepers. I hear a woodcock, an American woodcock, just over there somewhere in the woods. Pretty much a picture-perfect spring night here in Allegany State Park. So thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to check out the links to my social medias and my website down in the description below. I'll see you guys around. While I don't typically photograph scenes like this because of the man-made element, what with the sort of mowed lawn area at the bottom of the frame, I just honestly couldn't resist capturing these really wonderful storied trees, especially in this very soft evening light. So I went ahead and just took a stab at it, and I'm pretty happy with the overall image. This day wasn't really filled with too much photography, just a lot of exploring and scouting and experimenting, which is okay. I think a part of me, a past self, would probably have been disappointed with not getting a ton of, in quotes, trophy images, but sometimes it's better to just take a day off, so to speak, and just explore, experiment, and kind of just focus on other things to kind of recharge those creative batteries for future endeavors. Stay tuned for the next episode, where I do head back to that really nice secluded wetland area on the Quaker side of the park for sunrise, where I'm actually greeted with some pretty nice light on a very, very calm, beautiful morning. Later on, I do actually hike my way down to the end of the road, a place I hadn't visited in quite some time, for some peace and quiet. And later in the evening, we head over to the Red House Administration Building to check out their wildlife displays, pick up some books, and enjoy a nice dinner at the Red House restaurant.